On behalf of the North Central College Educational Leadership faculty, I would like to begin this brief presentation by expressing our appreciation to you for all that you do to support our educational leadership program candidates. Your gracious sharing of expertise and experience as adjunct instructors and internship supervisors provides our aspiring school leaders with the valuable perspective of successful practitioners. I currently hold the role of visiting professor in the educational leadership program here at North Central College. In addition, I serve as the coordinator of character initiatives through the Kern Family Foundation grant. You may recall that the North Central Educational Leadership faculty received a generous grant from the Kern Family Foundation to support the intentional infusion of a tapestry of virtue ethics into our educational leadership curriculum. I have had the honor and privilege of leading that curriculum design. Recent global and national events have brought the issue of ethical leadership into the spotlight and have renewed a sparked interest in virtue ethics and character development. Traditionally, the focus has been on character education for pre-K through 12 students. However, institutions of education such as North Central are increasingly joining the conversation around a more holistic vision of preparing leadership candidates. Higher education has had a long history of preparing leaders, but in this unique paradigm of the 21st century, it has become critically apparent that school leaders need to be prepared to lead in a way that is both virtuous and oriented towards a global common good. Ethical leadership is widely regarded as being central to the task of nurturing schools to become moral institutions that promote the growth and character development of students. In fact, a number of leadership theorists agree that creating a culture of character is one of the key responsibilities of school leaders. It has often been noted that school leaders need to talk the talk and, even more importantly, walk the walk as visible role models. If we agree that transforming the culture of schools is a task that's critically dependent upon the leader, then school leaders need to be the character they want to see in their communities. A number of thought leaders have cautioned that school leaders need to first focus on me, focus on a change of self in order to lead their schools in changing the culture. Now, while character development is certainly a lifelong journey, educational leadership programs can facilitate the deepening of the individual character of candidates, thus better enabling them to go forward and support a culture of character in their future leadership roles. Deepening the capacity of future school leaders with developmental intentionality can be a significant factor in the subsequent success of school-wide character education programs. The North Central College program faculty have agreed to place an emphasis on the development of leader character and character education as we prepare our candidates for school leadership roles. We're focused on the moral purpose of building the capacities of our graduate candidates so that they can go forward and bring that culture into the heart of their school communities. Thus, here at North Central, we have decided to focus not only on specialized knowledge and management skills, but also to ground our North Central Educational Leadership Program in program-specific leadership virtues, the development of the leader character, as well as cultivating practical wisdom. We engaged in an extensive literature review. We examined a plethora of character education models, and we had many, many collegial conversations as the curriculum redesign team. We used all of that to adapt relevant elements and created our own unique North Central College Cultures of Character framework. As a team, we agreed to focus on the leadership virtues that are listed here on this slide. These leadership virtues represent the specific moral, intellectual, and civic leader virtues, as well as performance strengths that we aim to develop in our candidates as they progress through this leadership preparation program. The overarching goal, of course, is to anchor these leadership virtues in the mega virtue of practical wisdom. In addition to studying a plethora of different leadership styles, the team also decided to emphasize 4 distinct leadership styles that we feel have the potential to support cultures of character. Thus, you see that our virtues are framed with moral leadership, ethical leadership, servant leadership, and transformational leadership. Many reflective conversations and planning conversations here at North Central led to the agreement that our leadership candidates need to experience a program of carefully sequenced coursework that has been intentionally infused with the elements of our adopted framework. It is our belief that good leadership is informed by virtue, and that intentionally threading the study of virtue ethics and character education into our program can increase the probability that our program will produce future leaders who are both effective and ethical. To achieve this goal, program faculty developed a series of 5 programmatic learning outcomes. As you can see on this slide, each outcome is further broken down into 3 sub-outcomes. So you can see that by the end of our program, it is our belief that candidates will have moved through a progression in their acquisition of their own leadership virtues. They will have critically engaged in character development of their own character, becoming a virtuous leader. They will have explored, interpreted, and applied practical wisdom both in their field experiences and in their internship experiences, with a focus on problem solving, equity, and advocacy. They will have explored leadership styles with a particular emphasis and focus on the moral, ethical, servant, and transformational styles. And they will have explored a variety of character development programs and initiatives. Studies suggest that leader virtues, leader character, and leadership styles, along with practical wisdom, can be deepened and refined through targeted instruction in tandem with opportunities for practice, habituation. As a next step, the redesign team mapped programmatic learning sub-outcomes through our existing courses. On this slide, you can see a full listing of educational leadership courses where each sub-outcome has been embedded and needs to be addressed. In some instances, introduced, in some instances, they will be practiced, and others, they'll be applied. As you can see, there's a progression throughout the courses. This is much the same as we already align our courses with the national and the state leadership standards. Once we achieved that task and had our programmatic learning outcomes and sub-outcomes mapped, the redesign team then turned to looking at our course activities and assignments and assessments. The goal is to integrate cultures of character throughout every aspect of the curriculum and course delivery. So this effort includes infusing the cultures of character, vision, mission, and virtues into all content, assignments, and course materials. The 8 Educational Leadership Program Master Course outlines were subsequently revised to intentionally articulate, enhance, and align the existing program structure with the cultures of character, mission, and vision, essentially supplementing these excellent courses already in place. The revised master course outlines highlight and amplify the character education and virtue ethics elements that were already contained in the original program and fills in the gaps that were uncovered in the redesign process. Following this presentation, I would encourage you to use the link on this page to visit our North Central College Educational Leadership Google site. That site now houses not only the master course outlines, but also an expanded curriculum map that not only lists where the sub-outcomes are embedded, but also demonstrates which activities and assignments and assessments are aligned with those sub-outcomes. Now, to ensure that all of our instructors are supported in their efforts to really navigate this whole redesign program, we have created a Blackboard course. Each program faculty member, adjunct instructor, and internship supervisor now has access to this persistent course site in your Blackboard course listing. This Blackboard course contains a plethora of resources to help you deepen your understanding of our Cultures of Character initiative beyond this brief presentation, and will support your efforts to embed the programmatic sub-outcomes into your respective courses. As you begin to explore the folders on this Blackboard onboarding site, we recommend that you start with the first folder, the one entitled Leadership Programs and Cultures of Character Grounding Elements. In this folder, you will find subfolders and items and files, a number of papers, articles, links to websites and videos that will help you deepen your understanding of our curricular revisions. There are also activities that provide opportunities for you to reflect on the content, to ask questions via Blackboard, and even have conversations in the discussion forum. As you work your way through the onboarding site folders and exercises, it is our hope that you will strengthen your knowledge and understanding, becoming more comfortable with our shared vocabulary of character and virtues. As you build your personal cultures of character schema, we look forward to you joining us as we collaborate intentionally to teach and model virtue ethics for our leadership candidates. As an example, I wanted to share with you a snapshot of how the first course in our Master's in Educational Leadership program has been enhanced to meet the national and state standards, but through the lens of virtue ethics and our vision and mission, cultures of character. On this slide, you can see an excerpt from the MEDU 500 Mission Driven Leadership course. This is a page from the syllabus calendar. First, you'll notice that the previous course text has been replaced with a series of leadership-focused articles, many of which address leaders with a moral compass. In an approach of being a flipped classroom, there are prerequisite PowerPoint presentations and readings that offer direct instruction on the leadership virtues that are a focus of the Cultures of Character framework. You can see, for instance, on this slide, we'll be looking at, in week 5, moral virtues of justice and respect. In week 6, we'll be looking at intellectual virtues of critical thinking and curiosity, as well as looking at articles that really are talking about moral leaders. In addition, there will be practice with character-based ethical dilemmas that take place each time we meet on campus. Each small group activity will be guided by reflection framework, and exercises will conclude with a whole group time to reflect in community on the character-related learnings. So, for example, as we come together and share our thinking about the ethical dilemmas, we will talk about the leadership styles that were needed in this particular context. What leadership virtues and character strengths would be needed to guide a school leader through this dilemma or similar dilemmas? And what character learnings will candidates take away from engaging with this particular dilemma that they can put in their toolbox in case they come up with similar situations in the future? Assignment rubrics have also been enhanced to include criteria that encourages candidates to reflect not only on how each assignment has impacted their growing competence, but also their development towards becoming a virtuous leader. So as we embark on this exciting journey together, it is our intention to strengthen our professional collaboration partnerships with you. As adjunct instructors and internship supervisors, you will play a critical role in the fidelity of implementation, as well as the modeling of cultures of character and the outcomes that have been adopted and embedded in each and every one of our leadership courses. So in that vein, throughout the upcoming year, the plan is to offer some ongoing professional development opportunities. We will be talking about topics that are related, exploring articles. We will do this in person. We'll have also synchronous and asynchronous online sessions. We're also going to organize workshops where we can sit together and share syllabi, support each other, talk about assignments and alignment, and help each other as we infuse the virtue ethics and the sub-outcomes throughout our working syllabi. We also plan to establish mentoring partnerships one-to-one between faculty members and adjunct instructors and internship supervisors so that you have a buddy, a partner that you can rely on. Of course, as researchers in higher ed, we plan to measure and evaluate, and we want to know the impact of our redesign efforts. We plan to gather feedback from faculty, adjunct instructors, internship supervisors, leadership candidates, even alumni. We're going to use surveys, questionnaires, interviews, and focus group conversations. In terms of quantitative data, we also will be putting together a few pre- and post-assessment tools that will be administered to monitor and measure the impact and fidelity of our efforts as we try to not only meet national and state standards, but also our cultures of character, programmatic outcomes, and sub-outcomes. In the spirit of continuous improvement and collaboration, we plan to invite you to meet with us at the end of each spring semester to examine the feedback and the data from the assessments. The goal will be to reflect and dialogue around the data and guide our ongoing efforts to offer an exemplary educational leadership program that graduates candidates with a very strong moral compass. It is our hope that our candidates will leave North Central College possessing the leader competencies and the leader character needed to go forward and serve as virtuous school leaders. Thank you so much for your time and attention as you view this presentation. I know that I speak for my faculty colleagues as we look forward to our continued collaboration as we prepare together effective and ethical school leaders.